Hello, friends. Let us learn about a new topic, that is the Unit 5 admixtures in concrete. Actually, we have to see that what are these admixtures and why they are essentially used in concrete. Particularly, admixtures are the material other than the basic ingredients of concrete. That is, cement, sand, fine aggregate, coarse aggregate, and water. Now, these admixtures are used in concrete in order to modify certain properties of concrete, of either fresh concrete or hardened concrete. Commonly, the properties like setting time, workability, strength, durability, these can be enhanced with the use of appropriate use of these concrete admixtures. Now, basically, there are two types of admixtures. We can broadly classify it as chemical admixtures and mineral admixtures. But in all, there are about 5 chemical admixtures like water reducing admixtures or plasticizers, high range water reducing agents or super plasticizers, retarding admixtures or retarders, accelerating admixtures or accelerators, air entering admixtures. In mineral admixtures, you will see the commonly used mineral admixtures are metakaolin, rice husk, silica fume, and most commonly used is fly ash and GGBFS. Now let us go in detail one by one. First, let us talk about plasticizers, or they are also called water reducers or water reducing agents. Now, as the name itself indicates, the major function of plasticizer is to reduce the water content of the given mix by a certain percent without reducing the workability of the mix. Thus, it improves the workability of concrete at a given water symmetry. Now, as already I have told, these are chemical admixtures. So, basic chemicals used in plasticizers are of two types. One is lignosulfonates and their salts, and secondly, hydroxylated carboxylic acid and their salts. Now, in practice, plasticizer are used in dosage of 100 to 200 milliliters per bag of cement, and this plasticizer is mixed with the mixing water, and then that water is added to the dry mix of other ingredients. These plasticizers are basically water based. Now let us see this mechanism of action of plasticizer. Even for next admixture, that is super plasticizer, it is more or less same. So if you concentrate on this cage, I would like to explain with this cage. That is, you can see there are two cement particles which are basically positively charged. Now, when we add plasticizer or super plasticizer I am going to talk about it later, but almost the mechanism is same. So what happens, you can see here, the molecules of plasticizers are adsorbed on the surface of the cement particles. Now, these molecules or this molecular film, it causes negative charge on the cement particles. You can see negative here, negative here. So, these negative charges will cause repulsion of this particularly to cement particle, and this cement particle will be pushed apart. So, their coming together is less. Okay. Now, actually, the major active components of these plasticizers are surface active agents which are adsorbed on the cement particle, giving them a negative charge which causes repulsion. and thus the cement particles are dispersed. So flocculation is avoided, and the particles are deflocculated. That means they are not allowed to come together, and they will remain in suspension due to this repulsion. So that's why more mobility will be uh, given to that mix. So obviously at given water cement ratio, even we are reducing water, this workability will be enhanced in terms of either compacting factor or slump, whatever you can say. Now this film, water molecular film, which I have shown, actually basically it is formed on the surface of the cement particles. So this film around the cement particles, it slightly reduces or slows down the hydration reaction between water and cement particle, and thus this plasticizers give some retarding effects. So they are also acting as some type of retarder. Retarding means delaying the setting action. Secondly, superplasticizers, or they are also called high range water reducing agents or reducer. By using plasticizer, we can reduce up to 10 to 15% water from the design mix. But here, if you are using super plasticizer, you can reduce up to 30% of water without reducing or without affecting the workability, which is generally used for production of flowing, self leveling, self compacting, and high performance concrete. Actually, the dosage, it varies depending upon the type or depending upon the chemical which can be used. But again, its proportion varies from 200 to 300 milliliters per 50 kg bag of cement. Now, chemically plasticizers and super plasticizers are different. You can see basically these are soluble organic polymers, and the chemicals generally used for manufacture of super plasticizer, it is either sulfonated melamine formaldehyde condensates, commonly abbreviated as SMF. Secondly, sulfonated naphthalene formaldehyde condensates, SNF. Third, modified lignosulfonate, which is more common, MLS. Fourth, acrylic polymer based. Next, copolymer of carboxylic acid with acrylic ester and polycarboxylate ester. As already I have shown in the previous sketch, the mechanism of action of plasticizer and super plasticizer is almost same. So, for increasing the workability without affecting the water cement ratio, we have to use super plasticizer. There is a new era plasticizer available, which is also called hyper plasticizer, which is generally used to produce very highly flowable and pumpable concrete or very high performance concrete in advanced construction stage. Third admixture is retarder. A delay in setting of cement, sometimes it is essential in order to prolong the setting action, and for this purpose retarders, that is retarding admixtures, are commonly used for maintaining the plasticity of the mix during the long hauls. Particularly in RMC industry, it is very essential. Also, it in hot weather concrete, that is above 40 degrees centigrade. You have to use this retarders, otherwise due to that hot temperature, which is generally above 40 degrees centigrade, it will cause evaporation and subsequent hardening and setting of concrete, which is not intended or it is not allowed inside the transit mixer. Otherwise, that will be permanent damage for that mixer and financial loss as well. Most commonly used retarder is calcium sulfate of gypsum. Even at the time of study of manufacture of cement, we have seen that in that cement plant, along with those cement clinkers, gypsum is added in order to avoid that flash state. Otherwise, what will happen? If gypsum is not there, as soon as water is added to that cement, it will get stiffened, it will get hardened, and it will be of no use for our concreting or plastering purpose. So gypsum is more common. Other retarders are carbohydrate derivatives, soluble zinc salt, soluble borates, methanol, common sugar, etc. Now, similarly, in some cases, we have to accelerate the setting time of concrete. Exactly reverse of the previous one, that is the retarding. Now, where acceleration or rapid hardening or quick setting is required, particularly cold concreting, that is concreting conducted below 4 degrees centigrade. Again, in the precast industry, where early removal of formwork is required, or in the emergency repair works, where you have to put that work either road repairs or some other concrete member which you have to keep open for the public or for the use as early as possible. So, by using accelerator, you can put those members or put those structures for the service much earlier. Now, commonly used accelerators are soluble carbonates, calcium nitrate, calcium formate, triethylamine, etc. Now, next category of admixture is air entraining admixtures. Now, sometime intentional incorporation or addition of air is beneficial. Actually, very small quantity of air is entrained or allowed in forms of very millions of air bubbles, which act as very small ball bearing, and the diameter of entrapped air, it varies from 5 micron to 50 micron. Actually, they are very small as compared to entrapped air, which is having diameter up to 1000 microns. So see the difference, 5 microns and 1000 micron, and those 1000 micron we call air bubble, which we are eliminating during compaction in order to get maximum density and concrete free from voids. But here very minute 5 to maximum 10 micron size air bubbles are introduced in that, which will act as small ball bearing. And you know what ball bearings does inside the machine parts? It reduces its friction and it gives additional mobility, ease to flow. So that's why air entering admixtures are used. Commonly used air entering agents are natural wood resins, animal or vegetable fats and oils, alkali salts of sulfated and sulfonated organic compound. Now, vegetable fats and oils, you must have seen that it is commonly used in soaps. And what happens when we use soap along with water? It gives bubbles. So these bubbles are nothing but entrained air bubbles. Now, what happens exactly in the action of bubbles? You can see these are the cement particles. Again, all these are initially positively charged. Now, these air bubbles, particularly which is entrained purposely, these air bubbles carries negative charge on that. You can see here negative charge. So again, due to that negative charge, there will be repulsion of all these particles, and there will be repulsion of these cement particles, and they will be prevented from coming close together, and they will remain in suspension or in dispersed condition, as we have seen in case of plasticizer or super plasticizer. So again, these air entering agents or these small minute air bubbles having size 5 to 10 micron, they will be preventing these cement particles to come together, and it will remain in suspension, and ultimately it will be adding to increased workability. So in order to increase workability, this type of air bubbles in aerated concrete or autoclaved aerated concrete also, these air bubbles are used in order to make that concrete porous, lightweight. So in a number of cases, such type of air entering admixtures are used.